Welcome to my channel. And today I want to share a story that will touch your heart and remind you of the power of kindness, courage, and hope. This is a story about a young woman named Angela who faces challenges, cares deeply for her family, and discovers that true goodness can change lives in the most unexpected ways. From hardship to hope, from struggle to love, this story will take you on an emotional journey you won't forget. So, let's start. Amina walked quickly along the dusty roadside that morning, her slippers tapping softly against the ground as she held a small brown envelope tightly to her chest. The sun had barely climbed into the sky, yet sweat already gathered on her forehead. Today meant everything to her. It was her chance, maybe her only chance, to change her life. She had been called for a house help interview, and all the way from home she prayed silently, asking God to remember her. Her heart carried one simple goal: to help her sick mother and somehow keep a roof over their heads. Nothing else mattered. As she approached the bus stop, she noticed an old man sitting near the edge of the road, under a weak-looking tree that offered little shade. His clothes were old and faded, hanging loosely on his thin body. His hands trembled as if they were struggling to obey him. Slowly, he lifted his head and looked at her with tired eyes. "My child," he said in a weak voice, "please, do you have any money or food? I have not eaten since yesterday." Amina stopped walking. Her heart tightened painfully in her chest. She had not planned for this. She opened her purse again, even though she already knew what she would find. Inside was only one small note. That was all, her transport money, the money meant to carry her to the interview. If she gave it away, she would have to walk for more than 30 minutes under the harsh sun. She sighed deeply, struggling with herself. "Papa," she said softly, "I don't have anything else. I'm going for a job interview. This money is for my transport." She turned to leave, but her feet felt heavy, as if the ground itself refused to let her go. Something inside her heart would not allow her to ignore the old man. She stopped again, turned back, and without another word, pressed the money into his palm. "Papa, take it," she said gently. "This is my last money, but it's from my heart. Don't worry about me. I will walk. I've walked for 1 hour before. I can manage." The old man stared at her in shock. "No, my child," he said quickly, trying to push the money back. "You need this more than I do. Please take it." Amina smiled softly and shook her head. "Papa, let me help you today. Hunger is painful. God will help me reach my interview." Tears filled the old man's eyes. "You are a rare child," he said slowly. "People pass me every day, but none of them stop. May the Lord guide your feet. May your name be favored today. You will not go in vain. You will find what you are looking for." Warmth filled Amina's heart. She bent her head respectfully. "Thank you, Papa." She began her long walk under the rising sun, but strangely, she did not feel angry or bitter. Her legs moved steadily, and her heart felt light. She whispered softly, "God, please let me get this job." By the time she reached the large compound, her clothes were damp with sweat, and her legs ached. She knocked softly on the gate. A young woman named Said, the owner's fiancée, opened the door with a sharp frown on her face. "Who are you?" Saideh asked coldly. I'm Amina Ma," she replied nervously. "I came for the house help interview," Saideh hissed loudly. "We don't need you here. You're late, very late," Amina tried to explain. "Ma, I'm sorry, there was traffic." "That's your business," Saideh snapped. "You should have left home earlier. Look at you, slow, dirty girl. I don't want someone like you in my house." Amina swallowed hard, fighting back tears. "Please, Ma, give me a chance." Said stepped closer, her eyes sharp. "Chance for what? You even look like someone who wants to steal another woman's man. I don't want you near my fiancé. Get out. Don't ever come here again." Before Amina could say anything else, Said pushed the door and chased her out. Amina walked away slowly, her chest tight and her heart trembling. Just then, a car drove into the compound. Adewale, the owner of the house, stepped out and noticed a young girl walking away sadly. "Who was that?" he asked. Saadi rolled her eyes. "Some poor girl who came late for the interview. I chased her out. She was dirty anyway." Adewale frowned. "That's not nice, Said. We really need help in this house. You've chased everyone away." "Uzo," Said snapped. "I don't like dirty girls around you." Adewale shook his head, troubled, his thoughts still on the sad girl he had just seen leaving. Meanwhile, Amina walked slowly down the dusty road, wiping her eyes. Her legs hurt, but her heart hurt more. As she turned a corner, she saw the same old man sitting under the same tree. "Papa," she said softly. He lifted his head. "My child, you're back so soon. How did the interview go?" Amina forced a weak smile, but her voice broke. "Papa, they chased me out." The old man sighed gently. "Don't cry, my child. Some doors close because they are not your doors. You did well today. Your heart is clean." She nodded slowly, though pain still filled her chest. He touched her hand kindly. "You will get a better job. The Lord does not forget kindness. Your feet are blessed." Those words gave her strength as she continued her journey home, unaware that her life had already begun to change in ways she could not yet imagine. Amina reached her small home late that afternoon, her body exhausted and her spirit heavy. The wooden door creaked as she pushed it open gently, careful not to make too much noise. Inside, the room was quiet except for the weak breathing of her mother, Zainabu, who lay on the narrow bed by the wall. The room smelled faintly of herbs and medicine, reminders of the long months they had spent battling sickness with little money. Zainabu slowly turned her head when she saw her daughter. "My child, you are back early," she said softly. "How did it go?" Amina dropped the brown envelope beside the bed and sat down, her shoulders slumping. "Mama," she said quietly, "they didn't take me. The woman chased me out. She said I looked dirty and slow." Zainabu's face fell instantly. "Oh no," she whispered. "What will we do now? My medicines will soon finish. I was hoping this job would help us." Amina quickly held her mother's hands. "Mama, don't worry. God will provide. I will find another job. I won't stop trying." Zainabu sighed deeply, tears forming in her eyes. "Sometimes I feel like I'm a burden to you." "No, Mama," Amina said firmly, shaking her head. "Never say that. You are my blessing. Even if I have to walk to 10 places every day, I will do it." Zainabu wiped her tears. "May God help you, my daughter." "He will," Amina replied softly. "Something good is coming, I can feel it." 2 days passed, and Amina kept walking from street to street, knocking on doors, asking politely for any small job. Her legs ached, and her slippers were wearing thin, but she refused to give up. As she turned near a small kiosk one afternoon, she suddenly saw the old man again, sitting calmly on a stone. "Papa?" she called out in surprise. "I didn't expect to see you here." He smiled gently. "My child." "Where do you stay, Papa?" she asked. "I sleep in the store behind that big shop," he replied. "The owner allows me to stay there at night." Amina's heart dropped. "On the floor?" she asked sadly. "Papa, how I wish I could help you." He shook his head. "You have done enough." "Papa, have you eaten today?" she asked. He smiled weakly. "No, my child." Amina stood up at once. "I will go home and bring you food." He tried to stop her, but she insisted. Finally, he asked for her phone number. Amina wrote it on a small piece of paper and handed it to him before rushing off. When she returned with food, the old man was gone. A woman nearby told her a big car had come and taken him away. Amina stood there confused, her heart racing, whispering prayers for his safety. That same evening, Adewale gently helped his father, Baba Kola, into the house. The old man looked tired and confused, his memory clearly failing him again. Adewale was relieved but shaken. He knew something was wrong. As his father rested, Adewale's thoughts turned dark. There was only one person who had been at home, Said. She knew Baba Kola's condition, yet she had allowed him to wander out alone. Anger burned inside Adewale as he walked down the corridor. He found Sade laughing loudly, watching videos on her phone as if nothing had happened. "My father went missing today," Adewale said sharply. Sade shrugged carelessly. "He's back now, isn't he?" Adewale stared at her in disbelief. "He could have died." "You're exaggerating," she replied. That moment changed something inside Adewale. For the first time, he truly questioned the woman he planned to marry. Days later, Adewale stood outside a pharmacy, troubled. His company had ordered him to travel abroad for training. His father needed constant care, and there was no maid left in the house. As he ended a phone call with a friend, Amina stepped out of the pharmacy with medicine for her mother. She overheard him speak about needing help urgently. Her heart raced, but she gathered courage and approached him. "Sir," she said softly, "I can do the job." Adewale looked at her closely, recognizing her at last. Something about her calm honesty touched him. He listened as she explained her experience caring for her sick mother. "Can you start tomorrow?" he asked. "Yes, sir," she replied. "I just need to inform my mother." Adewale nodded. "My driver will pick you up in the morning." As Amina walked home, hope bloomed again in her heart, unaware that the kindness she had shown earlier was already shaping her destiny. The next morning, Amina arrived at the large house very early, wearing her cleanest dress and neatly tying her hair back. Her heart beat fast as she stood before the gate, unsure of what to expect. Before she could knock, the gate opened, and Saida stood there. The moment her eyes landed on Amina, anger flashed across her face. "You again!" Said shouted. "What are you doing here?" Amina froze. Before she could answer, Adewale walked into the sitting room. "Saida, what's going on?" he asked calmly. Said pointed angrily. "This is the same girl I chased away the other day." Adewale looked at Amina carefully, then nodded. "Yes, I know her. I employed her." Said gasped. "What?" "She will be coming in the morning and leaving in the evening," Adewale continued firmly. "I travel tomorrow. I need help in this house." Said tried to protest, but Adewale ended the discussion. Amina stood quietly, her heart pounding, as her life took another unexpected turn. Adewale took Amina to meet his father. Babakola sat on his bed, looking weak and distant. Amina was shocked when she saw him, but she kept quiet. Babakola stared at her blankly, clearly not recognizing her. Adewale spoke gently. "This is Amina. She will be helping to take care of you." Amina bowed respectfully. Babakola nodded slowly, then murmured, "I'm hungry." Amina rushed to the kitchen to prepare food. As she cooked, Said stormed in, furious that Amina had entered her kitchen. When she complained to Adewale, he defended Amina calmly, calling out Sade's laziness. That word cut deep. Sade's pride was wounded, and hatred began to grow in her heart. That evening, Amina returned home smiling for the first time in days. She told her mother about the job and the salary. Zainabu cried with joy, thanking God for remembering them. The next day, Adewale traveled abroad. Without him, the house changed. Sade's cruelty grew. She shouted at Babakola, insulted him, and treated him like a burden. Amina tried to keep peace, swallowing insults and focusing on her work. One afternoon, Zainabu collapsed at home. Neighbors rushed her to the hospital, where doctors revealed the terrible truth. She needed urgent surgery. Without it, she would not survive long. The cost was overwhelming, 5 million. Amina felt her knees weaken. She cried and prayed, begging God for help. She had no one to turn to. Her new salary could not save her mother in time. While Amina battled fear at the hospital, Babakola sat quietly in his room, troubled. His memory failed him often, but his heart was sharp. He remembered the girl who gave him her last money. He remembered her kindness. And he made a decision. Later that day, the doctor called Amina with shocking news. The full hospital bill had been paid by an anonymous person. Every single naira. Amina fell to her knees, crying tears of gratitude. She didn't know who helped her, but she knew God had answered her prayer. When she returned to the house, exhausted but relieved, she found Saud shouting at Babakola again. Something inside Amina snapped. For the first time, she stood up to Said, defending the old man. The argument turned physical, and Amina pushed Sade away when she tried to slap her. Sade screamed, humiliated and furious. She ran to call Adewale, lying and playing the victim. But Adewale, tired and distant, refused to believe her fully. That night, Amina sat beside Babakola, calming him. unaware that the man she cared for like a father was the very person who had saved her mother Sis' life. Days passed quietly, but tension filled the house like thick smoke. Said no longer hid her hatred. She watched Amina closely, waiting for a chance to destroy her. Whenever Baba Kola asked for water or food, Saidi ignored him completely, leaving the responsibility entirely to Amina. Despite the stress and fear still lingering in her heart over her mother's health, Amina continued to care for the old man with patience and respect. One evening, Baba Kola called Amina to sit beside him. His eyes looked clearer than usual, and his voice was steady. "My daughter," he said slowly, "do you remember the day you met an old man on the street and gave him all you had?" Amina's heart skipped. She nodded gently. "Yes, Papa, I remember." "That old man was me," Baba Kola said. Amina froze, her mouth opening slightly in shock. Tears filled her eyes as understanding washed over her. "Papa, it was you?" He smiled faintly. "Yes. When I realized who you were, I knew God had brought you into this house. You helped me when I had nothing, so I helped you when you needed it most." Amina burst into tears, kneeling beside him. "Thank you, Papa. You saved my mother." Baba Kola placed his trembling hand on her head. "Kindness never dies. It only returns." That same night, Adewale returned unexpectedly from his trip. He found the house unusually quiet. When he went to check on his father, he saw Amina gently feeding him. The sight stirred something deep in his heart. For the first time, he truly saw who had been holding his home together. Later, Adewale confronted Sade about her behavior. She denied everything, accusing Amina of lies and manipulation. But when Adewale spoke to the neighbors and the house staff, the truth became clear. Said had been cruel, lazy, and disrespectful. Furious and disappointed, Adewale ended their engagement. Said screamed, begged, and cursed. But her tears could not change the truth. She left the house in shame, her pride shattered. Amina wanted to leave too, believing her work was done. But Adewale stopped her. "Please stay," he said sincerely. "My father trusts you, and I trust you." Amina nodded respectfully, unaware that love was slowly growing in Adewale's heart. Months passed. Baba Kola's health improved with proper care. Zainabu recovered fully and returned home stronger than before. Life slowly found its balance again. One evening, as the sun set softly outside the window, Adewale sat with Amina in the sitting room. He spoke carefully, honestly, telling her how her strength, kindness, and humility had changed his life. Amina listened quietly, her heart full but cautious. She had been hurt by life too many times to trust easily. "I don't promise a perfect life," Adewale said, "but I promise respect, honesty, and love." Amina lowered her eyes, tears forming again. This time they were tears of hope. Days turned into weeks, and the house grew quieter without Sade's constant arguing and Mabel-like disturbances. Amina settled into her work routine, tending to Baba Kola with love and care, while also helping her mother adjust to the guest room. The warmth and peace in the house began to grow slowly, like the first rays of dawn after a long storm. Adewale spent more time observing Amina, not just her diligence, but her patience, her humility, and the way she carried herself with dignity, even under hardship. He realized that in a world full of selfishness, she was a rare soul. One morning, Amina found a small envelope placed outside her room. Inside was a handwritten note and a small sum of money, enough to cover a few unexpected expenses. Her heart skipped. It was from an anonymous benefactor. She smiled, remembering the countless prayers she had whispered for her mother and Papa Kola. The note simply read, "Your kindness never goes unnoticed. Keep the faith." Amina tucked the envelope carefully into her bag, feeling both relief and renewed hope. She didn't know who had sent it, but the timing was perfect. Meanwhile, Adewale had begun organizing the house differently. He instructed the staff to follow Amina's guidance in caring for Baba Kola, ensuring that the home was safe and comfortable. Every time he checked on his father, he noticed how Baba Kola's health improved when Amina was near. It was subtle, the way he smiled more, rested better, and spoke with clarity. One afternoon, Amina's mother, Zainabu, suggested they go for a short walk outside the mansion. Angela hesitated. She was worried about leaving Babakola alone, but Zainabu insisted, promising to rest and recover fully. Adewale overheard their conversation and quietly offered to accompany them. Walking in the garden, the soft breeze carrying the scent of blooming flowers, Amina felt a calm she hadn't experienced in years. Adewale stayed a respectful distance behind her mother, allowing Amina space, but the silent support spoke volumes. "Mama, I am so grateful you are okay," Amina whispered, taking her mother's hand. "I was so scared before the surgery." Zainabu smiled warmly. "My child, you are my miracle. Not just for taking care of me, but for staying strong, for never giving up, for showing that kindness and courage are never wasted." Adewale cleared his throat gently, making both women turn toward him. "Amina, I need to say something," he began. "I've seen so much today, and over the past weeks, I've seen your heart, your strength, your patience, your care for my father. It's rare, I can't help but admire you." Amina's cheeks warmed, and she lowered her eyes respectfully. "Sir, I am just doing what I must. You and your father have trusted me. I only wish to be helpful." Adewale shook his head slightly, smiling softly. "It's more than helpful, it's remarkable, and I hope we can be more than just employer and caretaker." Amina's heart thumped loudly, but she remained composed. "Sir, I don't know what to say. I am honored, but my life has been full of hardship. I don't want to get carried away with words." Adewale nodded, understanding her caution. "I promise no rush. I only want to be honest. Over time you will see I mean every word." As the sun began to set, painting the sky in golden hues, Amina felt something she had not felt in years. Hope. Not just for her mother's health, not just for a safe home, but hope that life could change, and perhaps even love could find a way in. That night, Amina returned to her room, her heart quietly humming. She looked at the window, thinking of the long journey she had endured, from walking under the scorching sun for a job interview, to facing cruelty, to witnessing miracles she never expected. She whispered softly, "God, thank you for never leaving me. I will continue to be faithful and strong." Meanwhile, in the mansion, Babakola sat in his chair, watching Amina's shadow moving across the hall. A smile touched his lips. "This girl," he murmured, "she is fire, she is a blessing." The days that followed brought subtle changes to the mansion. Amina became more than a caretaker. She became a presence that brought warmth to every corner. The staff, initially wary of her quiet confidence, began to respect her judgment. Even the household chores, which once seemed tedious, felt purposeful under her careful hands. Adewale, too, found himself thinking of her constantly. He began seeking opportunities to be around her, not in a business sense, but simply to see her smile, hear her laughter, and witness the way she handled challenges with grace. Yet he remained careful, respecting her boundaries, knowing the fragility of trust after the hardships she had endured. One afternoon, while organizing old letters in the study, Adewale stumbled upon a faded envelope addressed to Babakola from a distant relative. The contents spoke of a family heirloom, a locket that had been lost for decades. Babakola had often mentioned it, recalling its significance to his late wife. Curiosity sparked, Adewale decided to enlist Amina's help to locate it. Amina, ever diligent, examined every nook and cranny of the mansion. Hours turned into a full day of searching, yet the locket remained elusive. Despite the frustration, she never complained. Instead, she encouraged Adewale. "Patience, sir. If it's meant to be found, it will reveal itself. We just have to keep looking." That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows through the grand windows, Amina discovered a small compartment behind an old bookshelf. There, hidden beneath dust and time, lay the locket, ornate, delicate, and shining faintly as if acknowledging its rediscovery. Babakola, upon seeing the locket, was overcome with emotion. Tears glistened in his eyes as he held it close. This is from your mother, Adewale," he said, his voice trembling. "It belonged to your grandmother, You were meant to have it." Adewale knelt beside him, gently taking the locket and placing it around his neck. The moment carried a sense of closure, a bridge between past and present, a reminder of roots and family. Amina watched quietly, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. She realized that her presence in this house had become more than duty. It had become a part of the family's healing, a thread in the tapestry of love, respect, and rediscovered connection. That night, as the household settled into quiet, Adewale approached Amina with a gentle resolve. "Amina, I've seen the way you care, not just for my father, but for everyone around you. Your heart, it's rare. I want you to know I'm serious about us. About what I said before." Amina looked at him, her heart pounding. "Sir, I've never had someone believe in me the way you do. I don't know if I deserve this." Adewale shook his head, smiling softly. "It's not about deserving. It's about being seen. I see you, Amina. And I want to walk this journey with you, if you'll let me." For the first time in years, Amina felt the warmth of hope stretch beyond her own worries. She nodded slowly, a tear slipping down her cheek. I want that too, sir, but let's take it slowly. I want us to build trust, not rush it." Adewale reached out and gently held her hand. "Then we'll take it slowly, every step, together." Meanwhile, outside the mansion, a figure lingered in the shadows, observing the house. The anonymous benefactor had not revealed themselves yet, but their presence hinted that more surprises and perhaps challenges were on the horizon. Amina, unaware of the shadowed observer, continued to embrace each day with unwavering faith. She was learning that strength, patience, and kindness could open doors even she never imagined, and that love, when rooted in trust, could blossom slowly, like a flower in the desert waiting for rain. The days passed with a gentle rhythm, yet the shadow of the unknown benefactor lingered at the edge of the household's awareness. Amina sensed that someone was watching, though she couldn't see who. Her instincts, honed by years of caution, told her to remain vigilant, even as she allowed herself to enjoy the warmth growing between her and Adewale. One morning, a letter arrived, unlike the others. It was written on fine, thick paper, the handwriting elegant and unfamiliar. It simply read, "Trust is earned, not given. Continue what you have begun. All will be revealed in time." Amina frowned, handing it to Adewale. "Sir, someone is trying to send a message, but I don't know who or why." Adewale took the letter, reading it carefully. His brow furrowed, but he did not panic. "It's a warning or a test? Either way, we can handle it, together." Despite the cryptic note, life in the mansion continued. Amina took on more responsibilities, helping with finances, staff coordination, and even planning community events for the town. She became known not just as a caretaker, but as a person of wisdom and initiative. Yet the shadowed figure remained, sometimes glimpsed in the distance, always careful to remain unseen. There was a sense that their purpose was deliberate, that they were shaping events, pushing the family toward lessons long overdue. One evening, Adewale and Amina walked through the gardens. The air was filled with the scent of jasmine, the last light of sunset casting a golden hue over the marble pathways. Adewale broke the comfortable silence. "Amina, I feel like life is finally starting to make sense. You've brought a light to this house that we didn't even know we were missing." Amina smiled softly, though there was a shadow in her gaze. "Sir, I feel it too, but I can't shake the feeling that something or someone is testing us. This peace might not last long." Before Adewale could respond, a loud knock echoed through the mansion. Babakola opened the door to find a courier holding a sealed envelope addressed to Amina in a script eerily similar to the previous letter. Her hands trembled slightly as she broke the seal. Inside, another message. "What you seek is closer than you think. Courage and honesty will be your guide. Do not let fear blind you." Adewale read it over her shoulder. "It seems someone is guiding us, or warning us. Either way, Amina, you've already shown courage and honesty every day. We'll face whatever comes next, together." But that night, as the mansion slept, the shadowed figure finally stepped closer. They paused at the edge of the garden, watching Amina's window, a faint smile playing across their lips. They had chosen their messenger carefully, and the timing was deliberate. Soon, the truth behind their presence would be revealed, and it would change everything the family thought they knew about their past, their fortune, and the power of trust. Amina, unaware of the imminent revelation, lay awake, thinking of Adewale's words, the mysterious letters, and the possibilities that awaited. Deep inside, she felt a mix of fear and anticipation, knowing that the coming days would test her in ways she had never imagined, but also bring clarity and perhaps even freedom she had long sought. The following morning, a quiet tension settled over the mansion. Amina awoke early, restless, the cryptic letters still heavy in her mind. Adewale noticed her unease and suggested they take a walk through the estate's old orchard, hoping the calm of nature would ease her thoughts. As they wandered among the blossoming trees, a figure emerged from the far edge of the orchard. At first, Amina froze, unsure if it was another stranger or merely a trick of the morning light. But as the figure stepped closer, the hooded cloak fell back, revealing a familiar face, one she never expected to see. It was Mrs. Olumide, a woman who had been a close friend of Adewale's late parents. She had vanished years ago under mysterious circumstances, and many believed she had abandoned the family entirely. But here she was, standing with a quiet dignity, eyes sharp and observant. "Amina, Adewale," she said, her voice calm but carrying weight. "I see you've received my letters." Amina's heart pounded. You sent the letters?" Mrs. Olumide nodded. "I did, and there's much you need to know. Your parents, they trusted me with something very important before they passed. Something that affects not only this family, but the future of this estate." Adewale stepped forward, protective yet curious. "What is it? Why did you disappear all those years?" Mrs. Olumide sighed, looking at both of them with a mixture of sorrow and resolve. "I had to leave for your safety. There were people, business rivals, opportunists, who sought to take what rightly belonged to your family. I stayed hidden to protect you, guiding events from the shadows until the time was right for the truth to come forward." Amina felt a mix of relief and apprehension. "So, all this time, everything we've faced, the letters, the warnings, it was to prepare us?" "Yes," Mrs. Olumide replied. "You both have shown integrity and courage. That is why I chose you to finally learn the truth. But be warned, what comes next will test not just your wisdom, but your hearts. Trust and honesty will be your greatest weapons." Adewale clenched his fists, determination blazing in his eyes. "Then we're ready. Whatever comes, we'll face it together." Mrs. Olumide smiled faintly, a rare warmth in her expression. "Good, then let's begin. There is a hidden ledger, documents left by your parents, that contain details of alliances, debts, and secrets that have long been buried. Retrieving it will not be easy, and it may awaken those who still wish harm upon your family." Amina felt a chill. "Where is it?" "Here, in this estate," Mrs. Olumide said, gesturing toward the Grand Library. "But it is protected. Only someone with courage, honesty, and loyalty can access it. And that is why I guided you, Amina. I knew you would rise to the challenge." As they approached the library, a sudden noise echoed from the hallway behind them, a shadow moving just out of sight. Amina instinctively tightened her grip on Adewale's arm. "It begins now," Mrs. Olumide whispered. "The choices you make from here will determine not just the fate of this estate, but your lives and the legacy you carry." Inside the library, dust motes danced in the sunlight streaming through tall windows. Rows of books hid secrets, but one large, ornate desk drew their attention. At its center, beneath a protective lock, lay the ledger. Its leather cover was embossed with the family crest, worn by time, but still regal. Amina reached out, feeling the weight of history in her hands. She could almost hear her parents' voices guiding her. With Adewale beside her, she carefully opened the lock, revealing pages filled with names, transactions, and secrets long concealed from the world. Mrs. Olumide watched quietly, knowing that the revelation of these pages would change everything. Yet she also knew Amina and Adewale had earned the strength to face the truth. As the first page was turned, a new world of challenges, allies, and adversaries unfolded before them, one that would test their hearts, minds, and the bond they had forged. The past and the present were colliding, and the future awaited the courage of those willing to embrace it. The moment the ledger was opened, Amina and Adewale felt the weight of history pressing down on them. Every page revealed not just family finances, but letters, agreements, and hidden correspondences that painted a picture of alliances, betrayals, and secrets stretching back decades. Some names were familiar, others were completely unknown, yet carried influence and power that could threaten the family's legacy if mishandled. A sudden clatter from the hallway startled them. Adewale moved instinctively, placing himself between Amina and the door. Shadows shifted along the walls, and the faint sound of footsteps echoed ominously. Mrs. Olumide's eyes narrowed. "They are here," she said quietly. "Those who wish the family harm have been watching. Opening the ledger has alerted them. You have little time." Amina swallowed hard. "What do we do? We can't face them alone." "You won't be alone," Mrs. Olumide assured her. "There are allies hidden among your family's old acquaintances, people who have waited for the right moment to act. But first, you must understand what you're protecting. This ledger contains not just wealth, it contains truths that some would kill to suppress." Adewale flipped through the pages, spotting repeated mentions of one name, Gideon Clark. "Who is this Clark? He seems to appear everywhere." Mrs. Olumide's expression darkened. "Gideon Clark was once a trusted associate of your parents, but greed turned him into an enemy. He believes that by controlling the estate and its resources, he can rewrite history for his own gain. He has allies who will stop at nothing." The sound of the front door breaking open echoed through the mansion, and footsteps grew louder. Adewale grabbed Amina's hand, their instincts merging in a shared determination. "We have to hide the ledger and protect ourselves," he said. Mrs. Olumide led them through a secret passage she had revealed earlier, a narrow corridor hidden behind an old bookshelf in the library. "This passage will take you to a safe room beneath the estate," she whispered. "But remember, what you learn here must be used wisely. Trust carefully and never underestimate the dangers waiting for you above." They descended into the dimly lit chamber, the walls lined with old trunks, maps, and artifacts from generations past. A single lantern cast a warm glow, illuminating the hidden room that had once served as a sanctuary for the family during crises. Amina carefully placed the ledger on a sturdy table. "How do we stop Clark and his people?" she asked, tension tightening her voice. Mrs. Olumide looked at them both with steely resolve. "By being smarter than they expect, we use the truth against their lies. We build alliances with those who value justice and integrity. And most importantly, we stay united. Your bond will be your greatest strength." Suddenly, a soft rustle came from a corner of the room. A small group of figures emerged, friends of the family who had remained loyal in secret. Among them was Daniel Foster, a longtime family attorney, and Mara Jenkins, a trusted family friend who had quietly monitored the estate for years. "We're here to help," Daniel said firmly. "Clark thinks he has the advantage, but he doesn't know you're prepared." Mara nodded. "We can move quickly, gather evidence, and expose his schemes before he has a chance to act. But we must act carefully. One wrong move, and everything could be lost." Amina felt a surge of courage. With Adewale by her side, Mrs. Olumide guiding them, and loyal allies ready to stand with them, she realized that the threat looming over the estate could be faced and defeated. Yet, as they made plans to confront Gideon Clark and his network, Amina knew that the path ahead would be dangerous, testing their wits, loyalty, and hearts. Every decision mattered, and the stakes had never been higher. The hidden room became their command center, a place where strategies would be crafted, secrets unraveled, and courage forged. The storm above was approaching, and soon the battle for the estate and the truth would begin. The night was thick with tension as Amina, Adewale, and their allies moved quietly through the estate, preparing for the confrontation that could change everything. Outside, shadows shifted among the trees. The sound of distant engines and muffled voices, signaling that Gideon Clark's men were closing in. Every step they took was calculated, every breath measured. "Clark underestimates them," Mara whispered, her eyes scanning the estate's perimeter. "He thinks he's cornered you, but he doesn't know what you're capable of." Adewale nodded, gripping a small flashlight and a set of old, forgotten keys from the safe room. "We have the ledger, the proof of everything. If we expose his lies to the public, his entire scheme crumbles." Daniel Foster spoke quietly but firmly. "We need to lure him into a trap. Clark thrives on arrogance. He'll come directly for the ledger. That's when we act." The group split into small teams, each taking a position near entrances and windows. Amina, heart racing, felt both fear and determination. She had never imagined herself at the center of such a dangerous mission, but the courage she felt alongside Adewale gave her strength. Suddenly, a vehicle's headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating the mansion's front. Figures emerged, moving swiftly with a confident, threatening stride. Gideon Clark had arrived. Clark's voice rang out, cold and commanding. "Amina Olumide! Adewale! Step out and hand over the ledger! You can't hide the truth forever!" Amina's hands trembled slightly, but she held the ledger tightly. "We will not let you manipulate our family's history," she called back, her voice steady despite the fear. Clark laughed, a harsh sound that echoed across the estate. "You don't know what you're dealing with. This estate, this family. Everything will be mine." Then it began. Mara and Daniel moved decisively, using the shadows and secret paths they had prepared. Adewale flanked Clark's men, creating diversions that forced them into narrow passages where the Allies had set traps. Old chandeliers swung down from the ceilings, ropes and pulleys devised long ago by the family's ancestors, turning into unexpected defenses. Clark's men faltered, confusion spreading among them as the estate itself seemed to fight back against the intruders. Amina guided the ledger to a hidden compartment beneath the floorboards, ensuring it would remain safe no matter what happened. In the chaos, Clark realized he had underestimated his opponents. His confident, smug expression faltered as he faced the coordinated resistance from Amina, Adewale, and the loyal allies who had protected the family for decades. "You think this changes anything?" Clark shouted, trying to regain control. "Everything changes," Amina replied, stepping forward with fire in her eyes. "Your lies, your greed, they end here. We are the keepers of the truth, and we will not let it be stolen." A final confrontation erupted in the Grand Hall, where Clark himself faced Adewale. The fight was tense, a clash of wits and strength, but Adewale's strategy, informed by the family's hidden knowledge, gave him the upper hand. Clark was cornered, forced to surrender as the sound of sirens in the distance signaled that authorities, summoned by Daniel and Mara, were arriving to secure the scene. As Clark and his men were led away, the tension in the mansion finally eased. Amina exhaled, the ledger safe and intact, the estate secure, for now. Yet she knew the night had tested them in ways that would leave a mark forever. Mrs. Olumide stepped forward, pride shining in her eyes. "You have done more than protect the estate. You have honored your family and upheld the truth. Remember this courage. It will guide you in the future." Amina looked at Adewale, their hands brushing briefly, sharing a silent acknowledgement of the trials they had survived. The battle was over, but the journey of understanding, rebuilding, and uncovering even deeper family secrets was just beginning. The first light of dawn spilled over the Olumide estate, painting the gardens in soft gold as Amina and Adewale surveyed the aftermath of the previous night's chaos. The mansion, though shaken by the confrontation, stood as a testament to resilience. Outside, authorities were finalizing their reports. While Clark and his men were taken into custody, their arrogance replaced by frustration and fear. Amina held the ledger close, its worn leather cover carrying the weight of generations. "It feels surreal," she murmured. "All this time the secrets we uncovered, it's overwhelming." Adewale nodded, his gaze steady. "But it's not just about uncovering the truth. It's about how we protect it and what we do with it. That ledger isn't just evidence. It's our family's story." Mara and Daniel joined them, smiling despite exhaustion. "And now," Mara said, "you have the power to shape how that story is told, to ensure it isn't lost or misused again." Inside the mansion, the Olumide family gathered. Mrs. Olumide placed a gentle hand on Amina's shoulder. "You've shown courage and wisdom beyond your years. This house, this family, it's stronger because of your choices." But even as relief settled over the estate, subtle signs hinted that the story was far from over. Hidden compartments revealed letters, old journals, and documents suggesting that Clark's schemes were only a fragment of a larger network of deceit. Amina's curiosity flared, but this time tempered with caution. "Do you think there's more we need to uncover?" Daniel asked, examining an old journal. "Absolutely," Amina replied. "But we must be careful. The more we learn, the more danger we might face. This isn't over yet. It's just the beginning of a new chapter." The family worked together, cataloging the ledger's contents and restoring the estate. Each discovery revealed not only past betrayals, but also acts of courage, love, and sacrifice that had shaped their lineage. Amina realized that understanding history was as much about honoring the past as it was about shaping the future. As the days passed, Adewale and Amina grew closer, their partnership strengthened by shared trials. Plans were made to turn parts of the estate into a center for preserving family history and educating others, ensuring that the legacy of truth would endure. Meanwhile, Clark's downfall sent ripples through the networks he had manipulated. Investigations revealed financial fraud, illegal dealings, and other misdeeds. Authorities praised the Olumides for their vigilance, and the estate became a symbol of integrity and resilience. Late one evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Amina sat on the veranda, gazing at the sprawling estate. Adewale joined her, passing her a cup of tea. "You know," he said softly, "even though the danger is gone, the lessons will stay with us forever. This is more than a victory. It's a responsibility." Amina smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "Yes," she said, "and together we can face whatever comes next. We've proven that courage, truth, and unity can overcome even the darkest schemes." The night settled over the estate, peaceful yet alive with the echoes of history and the promise of the future. Amina knew that while challenges would come, the foundation of honesty, family, and resilience they had strengthened would guide them through any storm. The Olumide estate, once threatened by greed and deceit, now stood as a beacon of truth, courage, and the enduring power of family. Angela felt a sense of calm as she watched Jeff pace the living room, finally speaking about the thoughts he had carried silently for months. She stood quietly, not wanting to interrupt, yet feeling the warmth of his presence, as if his confidence and sincerity shielded her from the stress of the house. Jeff took a deep breath and looked at her, his eyes softening. "Angela, I want you to know something," he said. "You've changed this house, not just with your work, but with your heart. You see the people who are ignored, the struggles that others brush aside, that quality, that care. It's rare." Angela smiled faintly, her cheeks warming. "Thank you, sir. I just do what I can." "No." Jeff shook his head firmly. "You do more than what anyone else can. You've shown courage, strength, and kindness. And the way you've cared for my father, even when my fiancé treated him poorly, it proves who you are." Angela lowered her eyes, feeling a mixture of gratitude and humility. "I only want to do what's right. That's all I can offer." Jeff walked closer. "Angela, I don't just want you here as my employee. I want you as a part of this family. You've earned a place in my life, in this home, and in my father's heart, and believe me, that is no small thing." Angela's heart raced. She could see the sincerity in his eyes, the deep respect he held for her, and it made her believe in goodness again, in fairness, and in the miracles that life could bring. She took a deep breath and said softly, "Sir, I don't know what to say, except thank you. I just want to care for those I love and do my best." Jeff smiled warmly. "Then continue doing just that. And Angela, know this. The world may be harsh, people may try to bring you down, but your kindness, your integrity, and your courage will always shine through. I promise you that." Angela felt tears prick her eyes. "Thank you, sir, truly." That evening, she went to her guest room, holding her mother's hand. Mama looked healthier than before, smiling gently. "My daughter, you've worked so hard. God bless you." Angela hugged her mother tightly. "Mama, things will only get better. I will protect you, and we will live well. I promise." That night, Angela slept peacefully, feeling a sense of safety and belonging she had never known before. The next morning, the mansion was filled with warmth and laughter. Papa James was seated at the breakfast table, his eyes brighter, his smile easier. Angela served him tea and he took her hand gently. "My child, you are truly a blessing. This house feels alive again." Angela smiled softly. "Papa, I'm happy you feel that way. I will always be here for you, for Mama, for anyone who needs care." Just then, Jeff entered quietly, watching the two of them with a soft smile. Angela looked up and their eyes met. There was a silent understanding between them, a connection that no words could fully describe. The house no longer felt tense. It was a home filled with love, care, and respect. Even Mabel, who tried to intrude on their peace, had left permanently, realizing her selfishness had cost her everything. And as the days passed, Angela worked diligently, cared deeply, and lived with hope. Watching her mother regain strength and Papa James smile again. But the most beautiful change was within Angela herself. She had learned that courage and kindness could open doors even in the darkest moments, that helping others often returned blessings tenfold, and that life's trials were never wasted when met with faith and perseverance. She no longer feared hardship because she knew she carried goodness in her heart, and that was stronger than any challenge. Weeks later, the mansion buzzed with harmony and joy. Angela's mother had fully recovered, her laughter echoing through the rooms. Papa James had regained a sense of security and happiness, often praising Angela for her patience and love. Jeff, seeing the transformation in the house, felt proud not only of Angela, but of the family that had now formed around her. He often reminded himself that true kindness and courage could not be taught. They were a gift, and Angela had given it freely. One sunny afternoon, Angela and Jeff were walking through the garden when he stopped, looking at her with a gentle expression. "Angela," he said, "I've seen so many people in my life, rich, influential, even clever. But you have something rare. You have heart, integrity, and strength. That is why I trust you, respect you, and value you." Angela blushed, feeling a warmth in her chest. "Sir, I just do what I feel is right. I never thought it would mean so much." Jeff took her hand carefully. "It does, more than you know, and I want you to know, no matter what challenges come, I will always stand with you. We will face them together." Angela's eyes glistened with tears, not of sorrow, but of hope and joy. "Thank you, sir, for believing in me." That evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in gold and pink, the house was alive with laughter and peace. Angela's mother joined them on the veranda, holding her daughter's hand. Papa James came out too, smiling, proud of the young woman who had brought light back into their lives. Angela looked around and whispered softly, "God, thank you. Thank you for giving us this chance, for keeping us safe, and for proving that kindness never goes unnoticed." Jeff placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "Angela, the best is yet to come, and I promise, with you here, everything is brighter." Angela smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. She had faced hardship, fought for her family, and had been rewarded not just with a job, but with love, respect, and hope. She knew life would still have challenges, but now she had faith, courage, and a home filled with people who truly cared. And as the stars appeared in the night sky, Angela finally understood. Every act of kindness, every step of faith had led her to this moment. A life filled with love, peace, and endless possibilities. And that was the journey of Angela. A young woman whose kindness, courage, and faith never wavered even in the hardest moments. Her story reminds us that helping others, staying true to our hearts, and trusting in goodness can change lives in ways we could never imagine. No matter how difficult life may seem, hope and perseverance can open doors we never thought possible. Always believe in yourself, be kind to others, and never give up, because miracles often come when we least expect them. If you like this story, make sure you subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share with your friends and family so you don't miss the next powerful story coming your way. Drop a heart in comment, like and subscribe my channel, and visit my channel for more interesting story videos.